You are listening to the Echo Effect podcast, your source for creative perspectives and real life results from creators and entrepreneurs you may recognize. Join your host, Tez Halu, creative entrepreneur and director of Silent Echo Studios, on a journey to be introspective and realize your version of progress. Welcome to the Echo Effect. Welcome, everybody. As you know, my name is Tez Halu, host of the Echo Effect. I am so glad that you're here to join us on this journey. As just like anything else, we'd like to give an introduction, not only just about the podcast and what our goals are with it, but also my background and all the things that I've kind of experienced throughout my journey to get me here. So without further ado, let's start. My name is Tesfan Halu. My friends call me Tez. My family and I from Ethiopia were sponsored and won a lottery to come to America. It took a while. We were refugees for quite a long time. I have vague memories of those nights, of my father leaving, trying to go work and find ways to provide for the family while my mom was also supporting the household. Before making our arrival to America, we went to Norway, where we lived with a family for about a year, and they were so kind, so generous. I am so grateful for them. And then we made our way to America in 1997 and landed smack dab in the Midwest of all places. Right, coming from Ethiopia, it's like you're in a warm environment and then just getting plucked out of that and going to a cold environment. It's like completely crazy for me. However, how my journey pretty much started with creativity was, you could imagine the culture shock, right? In 1997 through, the late 90s to early 2000s, I was just bombarded with all these different music videos, and just the idea of music and the way it made me feel. Right around that time, it was the rise and era of R&B and hip hop, and it was so amazing, and it just blew my mind. So that's where the curiosity ended up starting for me in my origin story with creativity. And then obviously, being from an immigrant household, parents trying to provide for the kids, shelter the kids from, bad things that may happen. My family did a too well of a job, I might say, but I still love them regardless of all of the things that may have went wrong, and love them because they did all they could to provide a better path for us. And ultimately, I believe they did their job, because now it's up to me and up to the kids to pave their way. And I take accountability in a lot of the things, everything actually that I do. So fast forward, obviously picking up and moving a lot. I never really had a chance to really build strong connection relationships with people. And I did in Minnesota, but ended up moving to Texas right around 6th grade. I mean, I was, to be honest, I was broken. I felt I felt as if I shouldn't make friends because of the fact that I was going to be moving and constantly moving year to year. And I mean, it's kind of shocking. I've actually done my own calculations and counted the amount of times we've moved since we've lived in America. You may as well say it averaged out to about one move per year. Um, so moving from Minnesota to Texas was a huge punch to the gut for me. I may have not liked it, but you know, looking back at it now, it makes me who I am because now I have made really great friends with people down in Texas, and you know, it's taught me a lot going through a whole nother environment. Just learning the culture over there and becoming friends with people with different perspectives. G Reed, shout out to G Reed, shout out to Steven. Um, Man, so many people to call out, but just for the purposes of this, I want to keep it a little bit short. Um, so my first taste of creativity in actual practice came from a desktop publishing class where um, like my mind was completely blown. We were we were essentially doing graphic design, taking an image of somebody in one setting and like completely removing them and putting them in a completely different area. That was like, it may seem so simple, but it was life changing for me. And that opened up the door to many more other create like digital creative avenues that I just didn't stop from there. So I went from graphic design to photography to video to web design, and this is all throughout high school. Um, I started sophomore year, so this was right around 2006, 2007. Um, Now, mind you, um, I'm probably the only person that looks the way I look down there, and people will just kind of look at me kind of weird, and like they were so confused as to like where I would fit in and like where am I from, and you know, the occasional jab or roast, funny or not, would always be about, you know, oh, African booty scratcher this, African booty scratcher that, and it didn't. I mean, like in the midst of it, like I just I didn't let it bother me, but over time, I think eventually it did kind of like set in as far as like, you know, me having somewhat of an identity crisis with myself and not knowing where I fit in. But, you know, long story short with that, I ended up realizing that I don't have to fit into anybody's perspectives of what they may want me to. I just need to be myself. And I've kind of grown into that these last couple of months more than anything. So fast forward, all of those creative avenues I've been pursuing and just learning more about over the years. Um, One summer, I actually came up to Minnesota, or actually not Minnesota, I apologize, to South Dakota to visit my cousin Mo. He was actually part of a hip hop group called the 605 Boys. And when I was down in Texas, seeing him do what he loved inspired me to really go deeper with music. And I visited him one summer and just got the knack and understanding of how to make music, and really just explore more into that avenue of creativity. And I came back with a lot of knowledge, understanding of what equipment to purchase and whatnot. I'm not gonna lie, the first time around, whenever I started recording, I had a little piece of crap like stick microphone, and it was so trash. I'm not gonna lie, yo, it was super trash. But through that, I was learning that it's not about the outcome of things. It's always about the doing, the progress. And I can say, you know, of a long period of time, I've learned that, you know, I've gotten a lot better because of the information that was given to me, and the more I pursued to become better in it. So after high school, I graduated, had to make a hard decision of whether or not to go to college in Texas or come or move back up to Minnesota with my family. And it was a hard decision, very hard for me. And I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't made the decision I did. So I ended up moving back up with my parents to Minnesota. Ended up going to college at Metro State. Graduated in 2015 with a accounting and finance degree, but also with media production minor. So with that being said, every time I tell people like my credentials as far as like my schooling, they hear it and they're like, wow, that's two completely different aspects, and like how are you going to use it? And I found that odd that people would ask that, but I understand at the same time it's like they don't understand what I'm going through, and I necessarily don't even have to explain it. But for you guys, I will explain it, because I've always had this idea of myself, that I learn from other people's mistakes and my surroundings. And being part of my family, watching my father go through the things that he's going through, whatever he's, his failures, seeing my mom, her failures, seeing my older brother, seeing his failures. I've pretty much learned from their mistakes, and I've made my own mistakes as well. And I really believe in this quote that a smart man learns from his mistakes, or learns from their mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. And I take that to heart, because I've embodied that without even knowing it, coming up as an adolescent to young adulthood into my adulthood life. And then on top of that, I just feel like I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset from an early age. And I mean, to throw it back, shout out to Corey Shy. The first taste that I actually had of me being entrepreneurial was me selling candy at school, and not candy like drugs. Come on now, guys. Even though it does kind of sound like that. I actually, I'm kind of ashamed of it, but you live and you learn. Me and Corey Shy, he was buying candy from Sam's Club and selling it, and we both were part of the student council back in the day. So they had the same exact boxes. So we caught the hustle pretty early. And I looked at him. I was like, "Yo, man, front me a box," because I didn't have my own money at the time to really purchase my own candy. So he fronted me a box. I sold it out. I paid him for the cost of the box. I asked him to front me another box. I sold that out. And then after the second box, I ended up having my first box to purchase by myself. So that right there led to so much more, because I ended up, it got super crazy. Let's be honest. Like, I had my school backpack on top of my other backpack, where people would just like rush to find me from like way across this big high school and like ask me for a certain type of candy that no one else would have. And me and Corey would kind of like, we were kind of like competing in a way where it's like, hey man, you got that territory over there, don't come in my area. You got this area. And like people would just like go crazy and like come to me and be like, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? And like, sometimes I wouldn't have it, and they would be like, oh man, come on, man. Cause like there would be some really, really popular candy, like, I don't know, for example, like the Hershey's white chocolate, or the cookies and cream, I should say, which is the proper term. That was one of the most popular ones. So that would always go right away. But nonetheless, oh man, there was one time I used money. How much did I purchased almost $300 worth of candy, right? And in that first day on Monday, I made all that money back and I hadn't even sold all of my candy for the week yet. So just imagine how much money I was actually making. My dad actually caught wind and saw the amount of money that I was making and was like, "Yo, son, let's get you a bank account." In my bank account. In my bank account. Um, and we set it up and it was just boop, weekly deposits. And my dad seen that. He was like, "Hey, let me borrow some from you really quick here." So but yeah, that's just another piece of story of just me being entrepreneurial and and tying it back to this story of, you know, the creativity portion of things. It's like and then my schooling as well, I've learned how to tie all of the things that I've experienced, learned, um, and and just found a way to kind of tie it together by starting Silent Echo Studios. And Silent Echo Studios actually started back in 2017. And it's been a rocky road, to be honest, because a lot of personal, life things, life changing events happen. You know, life always takes precedence, but um, I'm taking life into my own hands. And in 2018, one of my childhood friends had reached out to me and was like, "Hey, yo, I see that you started your own company, Silent Echo Studios, man. Like I have this idea in my head, man, for this cleaning service. Send me some information, man. I'm like, and I'll knock it out. And I just want to start something." I was like, "Cool." So I sent him the information to start his like some links and whatnot to like start the process, and he knocked it out of the park immediately. And then he came back to me and he was like, "Yo, just hear me out, man. I really need, I really want you to be a part of this and just meet up with me at my mom's house on a weekly basis on Sunday. And just like, I want to just keep on having these conversations. And I need your help to kind of like formulate this plan for the cleaning service." And at that point, I knew I was at a crossroads because I I I either would say no because I already had a lot, not a lot, but I had my own company to deal with, or I say yes and find a way to balance it, right? Which has been difficult at times. Um, so I chose to say yeah because ultimately, I really just wanted to reconnect with my childhood friend because I've already moved back up here in 2009 and I've seen him, hung out with him here and there, but we just didn't really connect on that type of level that I had liked at least, and I've told him this before too. But after he reached out to me and us coming together around this cleaning service, both of our minds put together, it's challenged me and made me realize things about myself where it's like if I know I can put this effort and his effort together to build something like this, I definitely can do it for myself. And I doubt myself and my own abilities at times, and I know a lot of people can relate to this. But I've been doing my best to push past my own doubts and my own fears because those are only limiting factors. And I've changed my mindset from I don't want to say I've had a fixed mindset, but it's kind of, I mean, everybody has it until they get out their own matrix. And luckily, I've done a decent job of kind of pulling myself out of the matrix and going to a growth mindset with the help of, being a part of the cleaning service as a partner now. And using that momentum to bring it back to Silent Echo Studios. And even in Silent Echo Studios, I want to say during 2019, we actually built an actual team. We had about 8 to 10 people on the team, and we were all collaborating together. And I was doing my best to try to find clients and whatnot. And we did a bunch of like music events and did highlight reels for people. And notably, one artist, oh my gosh, I'm going to beat myself up. I cannot remember his name. Oh, actually, Futuristic. Futuristic came into town and was performing at the Caboose. And somebody else that was on the ticket was somebody that I personally known and have been paying attention to and communicating with. An artist that goes by the name of Jonas. Shout out to Jonas, by the way. I had reached out to him and, you know, the promoters, and we were able to situate a way for us to go there and shoot the event and turn around the highlight reel for it. And I just want to say to everybody that was a part of the team throughout 2019, I am super grateful for everything that you were able to, you know, put towards the team and help build Silent Echo Studios. Granted, at that time, I probably wasn't in the best headspace. I thought, you know, I knew myself well enough, and I thought I had a handle on my own mental health at that time too. But little did I know that there was so much going on deeper that I couldn't even realize at the time. I was in denial about my own relationship and myself, to be frank. So fast forward to 2020, boom. You know, I with Silent Echo Studios, I had already, you know, started reaching out to a lot of other creatives and artists, and I started, you know, working with Graffiti. Shout out to Graffiti. We worked on 2 or 3 different music videos together. It felt good to really collaborate and bring something to life and match that to the music and make it cohesive. So I loved all the experiences that I had with my guy. And not even to mention, for 2019 was the actual first full year of the cleaning service, and the cleaning service ended up doing, making like blue. I'm not joking about it. Blew all of our expectations out of the water. We actually ended up making a total of 6 figures in, you know, top line sales. Granted, we had made some side steps and mistakes and whatnot, and had some expenses and whatnot, but we still ended up in the green. And I'm not going to mention that amount. And I'm not saying this to make people think a certain type of way about me, because trust me, they're like the grind and the gruesome of it, like what people only see normally is the success and the glamour of what things bring, rather than seeing all of the pains, the struggles that comes along with this. And I hope to bring some kind of light to that, because I could care less about the results. It's all about the progress and the grind. And if I can impart some information and knowledge to you guys based off of this, hey, I'm doing my job, right? All right. So now 2020, I've turned around a few different music videos, and next thing you know, Koro Baby hits out of nowhere. Everything shuts down. The cleaning service is doing its best to stay up on its feet. I've kind of lost touch with the team because I'm in and out of my own mental health, you know, managing my own mental health. Luckily, we normally have weekly meetings, and I hop on and try to like talk to everybody and keep my spirits up. And it's been difficult. And mid 2020, July 12th to be exact, I ended up, you know, leaving a relationship that was not, you know, serving me in the way that I needed. So, and it took 8 years for me to realize that. And this isn't a knock to her, because once I love somebody, I can't stop loving them. However, I can remove myself and still wish the best for them, because I still do care about them. I'm over here getting teary-eyed and stuff just talking about it. I ended up starting therapy around June of 2020. So my progress since then has been, for my therapist that actually said, has been pretty great. actually tremendous. And I notice I don't give a lot of credit to myself in bouncing back and just pushing myself and challenging myself. But nonetheless, I started this idea of a podcast, and I've always done podcasts and interviews and stuff like that with people in the past. And I've come to realize that I need to come back to this because it's so easy for me to just communicate and talk with people and connect with people through podcasts. And it does so much. It actually helps me learn about somebody on a deeper level, ask them questions that I'm interested in, rather than just asking some general questions that people think I should be asking, right? And then also finding people that are doing things that I'm very interested in, that, you know, I hope to do eventually, and just getting that knowledge and understanding and helping, you know, give them a platform to tell their origin story, kind of like I'm doing right now. And just spread joy, AKA spread the echo. That's why I ended up calling this the echo effect, because I want to give people's voices an echo effect to impact people, and just change people's perspectives and see if they can challenge themselves. Because if you try to force something onto somebody, it never turns out to be to go the way you actually expect it, right? So, and I've learned this the hard way through my own failures within a relationship. So without further ado, like, this podcast is meant to connect creators, creatives, entrepreneurs, really with me, but also share their stories to the audience that are paying attention to this, and just let them know that they're able to do something and take control of their lives as long as they choose to do this. And you have to have a growth mindset to be able to do this. And I hope that Echo Effect can actually do this. Not hope, because I'm a person with determination. I know Echo Effect will do this, and I will be doing this for as long as I can breathe. Just sharing messages like this, sharing experiences, whether it's my own monologues like these, or other people's experiences that come on and I interview on here. So with that being said, I just want to say I appreciate your time for listening. I hope I've shared parts of myself that you can take and hopefully learn from, whatever works for you, right? And, you know, until next time, my friends, always remember to capture the moment. Peace. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thank you so much for listening. And if this content brings value to you, please rate and review us. That really helps us grow this community, which is what we're hyper-focused on. Thank you again so much. And until next time, my friends, remember to always capture the moment.